Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Majamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Om. Namaste. So Gita, chapter 6, we are covering here the verse addressing the benefits of enjoying the fruits of self knowledge and what is in there for us and what it takes, And we know that it is quite a process. It's a life's project. Sometimes I like to put it in that way, or even more than one birth, several lifetimes uh, project. Until we get the vision, the Vedantic vision, we see gold everywhere through every ornament. We see Brahman through all Namarupas, for through all configurations, uh, made possible by the power of Maya and by associate to the intelligence of pure Sattva, Ishwara, and then the sense of duality and difference, is largely minimized to the extent that we are not caught up as before in this apparent duality, So we find security not in the duality, between me and the objects I get in contact with, but I get security and peace, by through this yana nista, this firm conviction, certainty, doubtless conviction of what I am is altogether from a different order, so to speak, and I am consciousness, existence, and duality, meaning to say it is split that appears to occur within myself as consciousness, in which there is the human consciousness experience other objects. So this duality no longer tricks me or deceives me as it used to before. To what extent the max of extent of this, which involves certainty of self-knowledge and a certain uh, purification level, is to be able to deal with extreme dramatic adversity, such as I'm losing my physical body, and with elegance, with peace, with gratitude in one's heart. So the goal is not only to become a yani, but a yani nista. You want to have yana nista. And what is this Vananista, this darshana, this vision, Sarva Bhutastam Atmanam. This yani with firm clarity and of conviction and vision, and he sees through all the normal rupas, he sees the Atma appearing as residing in every living being. So this is one level of understanding, and we have, I think, last class, Lord Krishna has mentioned that in the beginning you see consciousness as the indweller residing within everything in the cosmos, only for later on at the last on the ultimate understanding knowledge is that this consciousness is not an indweller residing in everything in the cosmos, but the cosmos is just a mere projection upon this conscious existence of non-dual nature. So those are the levels of darshanas, of visions, of understandings that are going to minimize or largely minimize the power of Maya in tricking all living creatures to believe that. Just 1 second, please. Why this keeps coming back? Okay. So minimize that power of Maya, the greatest, trickiest, that projects duality and convince everybody that duality is reality. And then we get caught up trying to find security in media. I mean, it's an impossible mission. We want to find happiness in this duality, which is practically impossible, and security is also pretty much impossible. So the only way out is to get yana and make this yana nishta. And then you see everything as consciousness, everything as a superimposition upon consciousness. It's like the analogy of the space. As we know, the space is accommodating all rooms, all living rooms, all bedrooms, all, yeah, all compartmentalized space, apparently divided and compartmentalized space, something like that. It's you see those no longer divide and separate, but as one space in which apparent divisions are superimposed. So it's the reverse vision. And what is the reverse vision? Vedanta somehow says reverse, the reversion. So the original reversion is produced by Maya, no? Which produces duality in that which is one without a second, and then gets consciousness, somehow under the spell of Maya to believe that I am a Jiva Atma and the world of objects around me are real and they must serve the purpose to complete me, so and secure me. So now Vedanta comes to reverse the reversion. Yeah? What is this reverse vision? Instead of saying space is within the whole, you begin to say the entire universe within you. Instead of saying consciousness as inhabiting or indweller inhabiting and vivifying everything, residing. So you see everything as if residing or contained, accommodate within you, because you are the adstana. Everything else is just a projection, superimposition, and that goes to planets and stars, the entire galaxies, all galaxies, anything. They exist within one space, and I am consciousness. I am the space of the space, meaning to say space is still is a superimposition upon myself. So space is going to accommodate all objects, and I most graciously allow space to do so, and I accommodate space. Therefore, I accommodate everything. Similarly, self is not the body. All the bodies, the self is not in any body. All the bodies are in the self. Sarva Bhutani, Bhutanam, Bhutanam, Bhutam. Here means body or Shahiram. And Sarva Bhutani, all bodies, Atmani. In the Atma, he sees. So we see everything within ourselves as consciousness. Okay. So as we know, consciousness can be beautifully constructed to help us to understand consciousness. We can say that consciousness is more like light. Also, is the light in which everything in duality is illumined and revealed and witnessed. So it's everything is happening in consciousness, and consciousness, taking consciousness in analogy such as a light, it's nothing escapes this light, because you need light to reveal things. And we need the light of consciousness shining in the human intellect, so that consciousness through this body mind instrument can reveal and experience and know this phenomenal world of duality, of mithya order of dual reality. So this is one beautiful way to understand consciousness. The other way to understand consciousness, which is from another angle, it's more than from the sat, the existing angle. It's not a question of revealing and knowing, but it's a question of I am the space and Maya is going to project things upon me, and I accommodate everything without any resistance, knowing perfectly well that I am the only reality. All of the projections are just such as mirage, you know. So we have these two fundamental analogies: light and the space, the the existing space that accommodates the existence of superimposed namarupas upon space, which is the only existing principle. Uh, So the yan is aware of this fact. What is the fact? That the self is imperishable. So that solves most of our problems, to know that consciousness is not bound by time, does not have birth and death, does not decay, and does not decline. The body mind is going to grow and be constantly changing and then declining until it is destroyed. The body is definitely perishable, but the entire Natima universe economy is perishable. So when the yen is looking for security in life, which everybody appreciates, who does not appreciate a certain degree of security? Yeah. So to live in an insecure world such as the world we have nowadays, it somehow is going to disturb most minds, especially if they are not Vedantic minds, Vedantins, Yanis. So if you have that knowledge is going to minimize mental disturbance, or even neutralized in a moment that uncertainty, insecurity is so prevalent in societies now as the entire planet. So everybody appreciates a certain level of security. Yeah? And let me just close this one. Everybody appreciates a certain level of security, and there is no problem about that. You know? Everybody appreciate a certain entertainment here and there. If you find some good entertainment with some nice movies or some nice series, so share with me. But I'm a little bit picky. I like really very different things, not commercial things. I keep looking for some of these series that are happening in places that I have never been, that we don't know much. There was a period that I was exploring Iceland, finding things about Iceland and like that. And to get to understand better how is the duality, how is the life condition, how the human jivas, do there. So entertainment is okay as long as it's not an addiction. Huh? So all of that is available in this media, and it's understandable that we appreciate that. But we know that the self does not really need security or entertainment, because the self is the only true source of security and entertainment. So the Yanni then would have access to two levels of security and peace and enjoyment and uh, and satisfaction. One is by really engaging in duality, yeah, through entertainment, for example, or can be a good meal, or can be having a trip here and there in which you appreciate the scene, appreciate the people around you. So going for a seminar, a live seminar with a teacher creates a nice environment. All of these very enjoyable experience. We can enjoy everything. But the yan is going to have two souls. One is when I'm engaging, I can enjoy some entertainment. But if things get too tough, things get too difficult, and then I just do like what? The trot, yeah, you just pull your sense organs, pull your head, is it the trot?
Turtle.
Huh?
Yeah.
Turtle.
Turtle.
Turtle, yeah. So you just pull your sense organs into your head, and you just step up to your true nature, and then you feel safe, secure, and It's okay. Nothing can really happen to me as my true self. So, and then the Jiva Atma, the body mind, enjoys a sense of security that somehow leaks into its inferior nature as well, because the inferior nature of the Jiva Atma is a mixture of the self plus matter energy. So you just own your superior nature, which is built into your inferior nature, and then your inferior nature enjoys knowing that, no, no, I have my best partner here, which is my superior nature. We live so hand in hand. So now I'm leaning to my superior nature, and I feel safe. So therefore, when you want to enjoy a plurality, diversity, variety of things, and you can appreciate the beauty, uh, you enjoy nitya, you enjoy anatima. And when the anatima begin to be perishable things, the world disappear. And when you are looking for something permanent, then you cannot rely on the body. So when you see, you don't expect something is not available immediately. So you cannot expect permanence or security or true peace. But you can expect some entertainment. Entertainment is a good word. It's a very good word. I like it. So we like duality because it offers us entertainment. You understand? Because I mean, duality came upon uh, us so that we can enjoy, the objects of experience that they present to us. That gives us the possibility of entertainment. But entertainment is usually said to be something enjoyable, not tragedies one after the other, like wars and wars and wars and wars. So it's you can use enjoy entertainment, but if it's not possible because there are too many wars around you, and then you just stay as your true self, yeah? Because it's the only source of true, permanent, undefect peace, shanti, satisfaction. Okay. Okay, the Yanni knows when security is needed. You better hold on to it. When true security is needed, yeah? Yeah, no, I need some also untrue security. Okay, so you have some saves. Okay, secure those saves, buy this, buy that, do this or that, save investment or whatever. So you take care, you do some planning to secure your appearance security in the medium. Yeah? But when you see that you need more than that, you need true security because things are really getting tough and difficult. You just hold on to your atma, the conviction of your atma, which is always there. Okay, so it's okay. You play both. You play. I want some security on this level, but I know that the only true security is on my own self. So we are a mix of two. We engaged with two. Once we become a yani, you engaged with the mutual world through your apparent nature as the body mind, but you engage your true self through what? Through your apparent nature as the body mind, because now you have self knowledge. You tap into your true nature. You hold on to that conviction, clarity of identity. You got that from the Upanishads, the final teachings, which declare true identity. And we know that there we find peace and satisfaction. Ananda is available there, peace is available there, security is available there, and it is limitless, and it is absolute security. So hold on to the self, and anything else other thing that you want to change the channel. So and then he talks about another construct here. Nice, you just change the channel. So it's almost like now I'm really engaged in the media, and I'm trying to play with media in a way that I can get some favorable circumstance of life, you know But then you say, okay, no, no, it's time not to play with the setup, but to work on my mindset. Let me change the china, and that let me just stay totally, you know, uh, totally firm, or totally in constant remembrance of my true nature, because now I know that there is no security. Death is coming, war is coming, or whatsoever. Adversity may be very dramatic or less dramatic, but then you tap into your true nature. And this is mostly understandable, when we see the destruction of our physical body. The death is coming, the so-called death is coming, like it came to the wife of my brother recently. And then we could see, some hope of somehow being saved or coming out of that situation, and then again, facing the situation, and then and then she did not have the knowledge to shift the channel and just say, tap into my true nature, say it's all okay. Okay, it's all okay. Now I'm real. Now I need to stay totally uh, firm on my understanding of my true nature, the birthless and deathless conscious existence, the only reality. So you change the channel. So she could not do that because she did not have that knowledge. I saw her just going into making an effort to change her circumstance by doing this, trying to do something new, blah, 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 and then falling into depression because she was feeling hopeless and helpless. You understand? But just imagine if she had that knowledge, she would tap into her true nature, and then she would be able to leave the body maybe with a smile on her face. You know? I always tell my students in Brazil, when I get close to leave this body, I want some to come close to me here to tell me later on, to send me an email, or to send me a message later on, to let me know if I left the body with a smile or not, because that's the ultimate test. There are two channels. One is anathema and the other is atma. So know that you have it available to you. Don't get much involved with the anathema world. Always keep your mind, very well established in a certainty in regards to your true nature. The greatest tragedy of a human being is to expect security from the insecure meteor world, security from insecure people, insecure relationships. The person needs security and is trying to gain security in the wrong place. Association. And sometimes they want to associate with some teacher or guru that tells them, do this, do that, that you're gonna find, peace or whatever, or security. you know but as we know, security cannot be gained by any doing, only by understanding one's true nature as the very source of security. And when you have those wrong expectations, there is no other result but disappointment, and it seems to be a setup to disappoint the Jivatma until one understands that there's no doing that's going to provide me with this shanti, this peace that passes understanding. That's why Krishna says in the second chapter, Yanni knows what to seek and from where. If he is hungry, he will not go to the self. He is go to the fridge, to the anathema fridge, look for food. So don't mix up things. But when you want peace, permanent peace, true security, don't lean on anybody or anything, and don't eat too much, because some people, when they are disturbed, they eat too much and then they get bigger. So when you want immortality, do not expect that the body is going to offer you immortality. Therefore, how did he get this benefit? Only by one method: giving quality time for Vedanta, Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana. Giving quality time. So how I'm gonna get this quality time? So first of all, I need to have a certain mental quality, yeah, so that I can stay with it systematically, yeah, constantly, persistently, and seeing that I'm getting better and better in terms of more and more qualifications to provide me with the potential for spending quality time within my Nididhyasana or my manana. The verse 30, I'm not lost into him, to this person who seeks me everywhere and sees everything in me. And this person is not lost to me. So he brings about a duality here which needs to be understood because once the person understands that all there is Brahman, is consciousness, is Turiya, and then and furthermore understand that everything is just resolved within this conscious existence, and I am conscious existence itself, like everything else. So there is no point of saying, "Oh my God, I lost my connection with Brahman." So this never lose his connection to me. Yeah. I'm never lost to him, and he is never lost to me. There is no question that I and he, the Yanni and Brahman. You understand? So the moment the Yanni has understood that my true self is Satchitananda Brahman, so there are no two, the Yanni and Brahman. There is the body mind, but the body mind has correct its sense of identity, and now it knows that I am limitless consciousness. So, and what is this consciousness? Oh, it's not something other than myself, it's my intrinsic nature. And then once you see consciousness as your intrinsic nature, the intrinsic nature of the entire cosmos, there is no question of duality collapse. And then consciousness and the yoni, it appears here because Krishna Guru is going to touch some a subject here which is beautifully unfolded in the chapter 7, 8, and 9, which is devotion, bhakti, which I highly recommend that we carry on after the chapter 6 because it's incredibly important and beautiful. So he says, and he is also not lost to me. You know, I'm with him and he's with me. Bottom line, there is only I consciousness, and my yani knows that he is the same Atma, Satchitananda Brahman. So Krishna gives this note. He's just briefly referring to a topic which he will discuss very elaborately later on the other chapters, which is bhakti. No? Krishna has not dealt with the topic of bhakti in the past chapters, and that's the beauty of this Gita, that he begins on a certain level, presenting the ultimate teachings of Jnana Yoga, and then he starts revisiting Dharma and then Karma Yoga and so on, but he does not really touch the importance and the need to understand that devotion is fundamental in this process, and it becomes so clear over the subsequent uh, chapters. Okay, the importance of devotion. So this is the topic from the seventh chapter. He's going to begin discussing this topic, but Krishna wants to do a brief advertisement here. He says that this appreciation of the self as seen everywhere is the greatest form of bhakti. This appreciation of Atma everywhere, in and through everybody, is also knowing the fact that the Atma which is in everybody is the Atma in this body also, and that Atma is my real nature, and therefore I am that self, that Atma which is everywhere. So this Atma, which in the beginning the Yanni understands that my true nature is self, and the Atma is conscious is existence of non-dual nature. And then the second level, as we saw, we see that, by the way, it's not only my true nature, but the true nature of the entire Mithya projection, the entire cosmos is resolved once it is understood. Everything, every living beings and inert beings, everything is but by the Atma, the self, conscious existence of non-dual nature. Everything and everybody is the self. So this is the understanding. Yeah? And then there is no separation, there is no division, and there is a sense of appreciation as well, and a sense of gratitude and reverence for the opportunity to Mr. Maya and Ishwara. Thanks for this projection. It served a beautiful, gave me a lot of difficult and painful experience, but served a certain purpose, which now I can be your devote. I can appreciate with reverence and gratitude for everything, and I don't need to be in a special place. I don't need to do this and that. I developed this cosmic vision in the first level. First, you see Shwara as the indweller on the entire you know variety of beings. You see the indweller, and then later on you develop an even higher understanding that there is only consciousness and the whole cosmos is within consciousness, not the other way around. So, and this is the highest form of bhakti, which requires no sadhana, because the vision, the darshana, is well established. uh, Krishna wants to make a point that this is the highest form of bhakti, and therefore higher form of bhakti is possible only through self-knowledge. So the first thing is self-knowledge, and self-knowledge begins. It is a mark, from where the highest devotion is possible, and it grows. And this devotion at the highest level, once self-knowledge was clearly established, it's the beginning of a second level of further elevation or purification or refinement of the body mind, because devotion is incredibly powerful in purifying, because whatsoever residual ego is still there is going to be purified to the extent that, I just I keep my ego under my vision, so that any glory is ever taken from the Lord. Everything belongs to the Lord, and the Lord is consciousness, my true nature, the nature of everything, and everything is just an appearance within this consciousness. Any bhakti practice before self-knowledge is considered to be a lower form of bhakti, but very important as well. In forms of bhakti, the Lord is not the substratum of everything. The Lord is confined to a place and sometimes to a name and to a form, until we come to the Lord, which is formless, but the substratum of all forms. The Lord is subject to arrival at the beginning, and then the Lord is going to give me punya. Okay, so I work with my Lord so that I can be protected and get good karma. The devotee is going to go through that interaction, dual interaction, and that makes the devote happy, excited with this new perspective of life. Before, it was just relying on one's personal success in the material world. Now it has Ishwara, God, on his side. And then the very same Lord tests the devotee. And the devotee is going to go through certain, and he's going to mention something which is relevant to the uh, Hindu culture, saying the devotee is going to cry every time the Lord appears and disappears. Let's see the story here in Bhagavatam. The Gopika Gita description is there, where they cry because the Lord has left me. So the very idea that the Lord can come and leave you indicates that I see the Lord as a finite entity. So it's like Papaji, who used to do sadhana, sadhana, sadhana to invoke Krishna, and then he used to play with Krishna for some time. But then he was getting tired of having Krishna departing, leaving him. And he was so blissful playing with Krishna. And then he started going all over India looking for a Krishna that would not come and go, a Krishna that would be always present. That took him to Ramana Maharishi, and then there Ramana just pointed him to the right direction, to the Krishna that does not come and does not go. So this dualistic bhakti is a wonderful enjoyment, entertainment. It's a stepping stone. So, but it's only a stepping stone. Inferior bhakti is called apara bhakti. It's not the true bhakti, the absolute bhakti. It's also called Dvaita bhakti, Veda bhakti. So after this first stage, I have to gain some self-knowledge to be able to enjoy the highest devotion possible. It's called Atma Yanan Bhakti. I begin to recognize the Atma everywhere, and Krishna says the all-pervading Atma is the real Brahman, the real Bhagwan, the all-pervading, the substratum. A personal God is not real God, is not the real Brahman. It's only a Maya projection. Krishna himself talks about that later in the future chapter. He says, people think I am a human being. They think I'm a person with a particular form. They do not know that I am the absolute Brahman, formless, timeless Brahman. So what is this higher form of the Lord? Is the of self nature, Atma Svarupam. The Atma Svarupam is the higher form of the Lord. Therefore, the Atma Darshana is equal to Ishwara Darshana. So, or Brahman Darshana. So, therefore, Krishna says, Yaha man svatra pasyati. What that means, the very same yani of the previous verse, what did he say? That he sees the Atma everywhere, and Krishna says that the Yani sees the Lord everywhere. And if you combine these two verses, what is the idea you get? Seeing Atma everywhere is seeing God everywhere, because the God is the self. The God is the self. The self is that reflection that occurs within the body-mind complex of the human jiva that allows us to say, I, myself. Who are you? I, myself. This conscious being, you know. So what is this conscious being? It's the mind, but what is behind this mind is limitless, non-dual consciousness. And what is God? God is consciousness. Uh, Seeing Atma everywhere is seeing God everywhere. And if Atma is consciousness, is of Chaitanya Svarupa nature, God is also Chaitanya Svarupa nature. So bottom line, as we know, God is consciousness, existence of non-dual nature. So God is not confined by any physical body. It was never born on a particular day or place. No? That's not the real Krishna. The real Krishna is the consciousness shining in your own intellect. If you say I love Krishna, there is nothing wrong. Vedanta says that it's not the ultimate thing. But if you say I love the self, the Atma, you know, and then you know, you are making progress. Then what is the ultimate knowledge? Bhagwan is there in everybody as what? As consciousness. Consciousness. Consciousness is there in the trees, yeah? In the animal kingdom, the human, and consciousness is even there in the mineral kingdom as well, but not enough to produce or somehow reflecting medium to provide this this self recognition. I am. Although the animals they don't have a conscious self uh, self knowledge. I am. You know, human beings seem to be the creatures here on this planet that have this reflection. I am the self, myself. This sentience of the body. You know, you are in touch with God. You are in touch with God. You are a sentient being, uh, and not a sentient being, but a self-conscious, conscious, sentient beings. Because sentient beings you find in the animal reign, But here you are sentient beings, and you exist, and you know that you exist. You are conscious, and you know that you are conscious. So you are in direct touch with God, but somehow you are not paying attention. So God is consciousness shining in the body mind sense complex of the human jiva more clearly and available to be claimed. These detailed Krishnas will tell us, provide us later. So you need not to close your eyes to see the self, God, Bhagwan, Brahman, once you have this vision. In fact, you're experiencing this Lord, this consciousness, this self, this Brahman in the form of the very miracle of life in every living creature. Every living creature is I mean, everything is so beautiful because of the beauty of the supreme self, that appears with the intelligence which holds together this this variety, numberless Namarupas project all over the cosmos, including the mineral objects, no? The Earth's objects. Not only this bhakti, this higher bhakti, sees the Lord in everyone and everything, but they sees also that everything is just a superimposition upon the Lord, and the Lord is consciousness, is the self. He sees everyone in the Lord, and he sees everyone means all the bodies exist within the God, in God or the self. So Lord is comparable to Gagana. God is compared to space in this case. Okay, that in which everything is superimposed and held together. If the Lord is comparable to space, what is the form of this God? It's formless. That's why space is also so beautiful. It's all pervasive in Mitya and it's formless. So it cannot be a Krishna that is located here and there and limited by space and time. Cannot be a Rama in a form limited as well. It cannot be any God with a form. It should be formless. The real all pervading God is formless self, Atma, the true nature of the entire cosmos. Then why we do worship forms? Yeah, it's a good point. Why do I have to worship forms? So you don't have, but those are the first steps. We worship forms because because in order to appreciate formless God, we need to begin by appreciating God's represent by a name and a form. So if I go through this dual bhakti, my mind is going to be purified, sensitized, you know, refined to the extent that I can appreciate the formless God as the very consciousness of the body mind developing these sensibilities. The mind has to become very subtle to be able to capture the vision, the darshan of this formless God, which is one's very conscious existence. Until the mind is subtle enough, we're going to require a Namarupa, God with a name and a form, and that is going to help us to grow and purify. Once we have prepared the mind, purified, we should move to from the formed named God to the ultimate, the formless God. This is the real God, and this is the ultimate devotion. A yani appreciates that Lord where? Everywhere. And again, the same way the yani knows that true peace and security is only available in the self, the yani is going to appreciate here and there some entertainment in life, some engagement with life. Huh? And likewise, the yani knows that the only Lord is that self on which the entire cosmos was superimposed, apparently. And the yani appreciates that vision of the Lord, but the yani, due to some devotional vasanas of the previous stage, may still appreciate some devotion towards a named deity such as Krishna, in form. It can be played both. Huh? Yani can play both as well. What is the advantage of appreciating God? If you see this God, this Lord, as the very self, the very Atma, the substratum of everything and everyone, including your very body, what is the advantage? The advantage is you are ever in contact with the Lord, with the self, with consciousness. There is no question of Lord in coming and leaving you because it is your intrinsic nature as conscious existence. So you don't need to do anything to invoke it, and no matter what you do to somehow lose it, you fail because this Lord is your intrinsic nature. So you're gonna be blessed by this vision, 24/7. Not only Bhagwan God comes and goes, we also invite Bhagwan, Asmin, Haridra, Bimba, blah, 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 blah. We call him, and poor Bhagwan, he has to travel all over the place because everybody's calling Bhagwan in terms of uh, Namarupa God, Namarupa Bhagwan. And then we say that, so much Sanskrit here. You put that goddess and put them inside. I'm telling all these only for those who do the Sandhya Vanda. At the end of this, I don't know how to comment because this relates to some Puranas involving deities and stories. So, but there are some stories that we pick up here and there that they say, "Oh, you come tomorrow. God is too busy today. He's already, addressing so many prayers and the demands. So God is tired and so on. Come back tomorrow. And then the poor God has been made very tired and so on. So we project our limitations upon this entity, the so-called God, not knowing that God is not a superhuman jiva. It's, God is, even in its saguna nature, is the intelligence, the supreme intelligence that holds the entire cosmos, producing, making it possible for us to transact in this incredibly beautiful world for those of us who have the sensibility to appreciate it. So never, the open faced God can never be subject to arrival and departure. He never gets tired. He never really listens to anybody asking anything. This serves only to pacify the minds of devotees on the first, second stage in devotion, in one sadhana. Because the ultimate devotee does not ask anything to God. If they ask something to a Saguna God, they ask, so give me the strength to handle this extreme adversity that uh, knocking at my door. So something like that we can ask. But ask things, favors, punya, is not something that occurs in the mind of a mature individual, or devotee. Right? Do you agree? This one became small again. Krishna says, for such a yani, this yani devotee, so we see the ultimate devotion requires self-knowledge. One needs to have this yana. For such a yani devotee, aham na pranayasmi. I will never disappear. I will be there with him and her. Why? Because I am the intrinsic nature of everything, including, of course, these highest possible devotees. I will never go away from anybody or anything. I am the substratum. I am that which, make it possible for you to exist as namarupas. So these people will never miss me. And of course, I mean, I will never miss them because I'm all pervasive. How I'm going to miss anything? Everything is superimposed upon me, and only a small part of me that is superimposition. But I'm vast, far beyond the cosmos. Time and space is a small thing. So I don't miss anyone. Nobody's going to miss me once they have this understanding, this vision. So that way, God cannot be threatened by any devotee, cannot be blackmailed by any devotee as well. The Lord is within, is the intrinsic nature of everybody. So what we're gonna do? We say, if you do like this, we will leave you and go somewhere else. So therefore, in every relationship among people, there is this kind of game. There's always room for blackmailing and threatening. Oh, you're not doing this to me. You will see. Blah blah blah. Well, with God, with the true God, it's not possible. Well, because it is your intrinsic nature. So even with Saguna God, one has to have a clear understanding that the body mind sense complex is gonna go through whatsoever Papa Punya Papa is designed, in one's very process. Okay, so Punya Papa is there and needs to be exhausted. So what is the point of trying to say, "Oh, Ishvara, please"? No. take it easy on me. So once you have this understanding, you say, so let it be. I know that I'm beyond the punya papa. I know that the true God is that one. Therefore, I don't bother whatsoever Shwara wants to send us now our direction. We say, so I understand. I deserve it, even if it's painful. The body mind here deserves it. This is a very, very strong trust in Saguna Ishwara, as this precise set of laws and principles which make no mistake. And this final understanding will make the person very strong emotionally, as Swamiji says. No? Your emotional personality was purified, refined, and became very balanced, and strength is there. So therefore, the yoni is not subject to what to be threatened or to be blackmailed. Everybody can be blackmailed because everybody is there wanting something from the other. You know, but if you know that you're the self, you don't really need anything from anybody. And this is something that grows as yana becomes more and more clearly and firmly, uh, properly internalized and established. That you don't play games, you don't allow blackmailing, and in any possible human relationship, even if everybody leaves you, so what? I don't emotionally depend on anybody. Why should I depend on anybody if I am the self? I am I am the Lord within, and I am permanently present in this body mind and the entire world. This body mind knows that, and I don't need to lean on anything. I don't even need to lean on Saguneshwara to ask him to take it easy, or there are no games, not even with Saguneshwara. So there's no point, there's no question of anybody rejecting me. Nobody can reject me as consciousness. You can reject the mind, the body, but not consciousness. And I don't need anybody. No, the ant is going to feel that way. I don't need anybody to pray to me either. Oh, but somebody's, oh, no, I prefer that people appreciate me than people attack me. But so you cannot rely on respect to anybody or appreciate it from anybody. Otherwise, you are still leaning on people, place, things, circumstance, and so on. This is integrity and gives no room for blackmailing and bribes. That's why they say, I think Birbal or somebody told Akaba, uh, somebody say that you are superior to God because you can do something which God cannot do. So you are more powerful than God. So you can do something which God cannot do. What is that? So the king was so happy and said, oh my God, I'm going to be more powerful than God himself. See how he does that. What is that I can do that God cannot do? So you can banish anyone out of your kingdom, whereas God cannot banish anyone out of his kingdom. Why? Did you understand? Uh, they say, no, I mean, you're a good king, but you have a certain power. You can reject people. God cannot reject anybody. God is like space. It embraces, accommodates everything and everyone. So even the omnipotent God cannot reject people, but you can. So where will be push you? Wherever you are pushed, He is there. So God cannot push you because God is the adstanan, the ground of existence. Everywhere you go, there is God. Here, He is there. He's gonna be everywhere. So that is the story here, as it seems. Therefore, once we go to the highest form of bhakti, of relationship with the Lord, of the true intrinsic nature of the of every human being. So Jesus is beyond gender, number, and all these things. Therefore, Krishna says to the devotee, I never disappear, not only he also does not disappear from me. He does not get away from me. I don't get away from him because we are one and the same. There is only one consciousness, non-dual. Therefore, Ananda, limitless. There is no question of division or separation. We want one block of conscious existence, whereas in all other forms of bhakti, God comes into my life and God goes away. When I go and when I stop doing puja, maybe when I stop doing my sadhanas, whereas in the case of non-dual yani bhakta, God and Himself are the same principle. Just to conclude here, in the seventh chapter of the Gita, Krishna will say, Yani tu atimaiva mi matam. In fact, we are inseparable. Inseparable is not even the best word. Means to say that I am He and He is I. There is only one principle. Is when you talk about we are not inseparable, it means to say that we are two parts put together that cannot be broken apart. But when you say that there is only I consciousness, I God, and then it excludes the possibility of separation or division. Therefore, we say it's Advaita God, Advaita Brahman. Therefore, pranayasti yati means does not disappear from me. Okay. What's the benefit of nididhyasana? What's the benefit of self-knowledge once nididhyasana has further purified the body mind? You know, what is going to be the benefit for this body mind? So one becomes the greatest devotee of the Lord. So there is so much around this devotion that it's not really addressed much, in Chinese world. And as far as I remember, James used to skip all these chapters on bhakti, 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 bhakti. Bhakti does not have much appeal in the Western societies because it became too materialist to my understanding. They want to have enlightenment somehow leaving God outside of that and even more strongly living this concept of devotion to God outside. It's something that appears to be out of fashion, you know. And once we go through these chapters and we see in which way uh, Lord Krishna hammered the importance of devotion, and then you begin appreciating more, you know, the dualistic devotion and non-dual devotion, and that has incredible benefit. So I hear he said that the benefit is that one becomes the greatest possible devotee of the Lord. But what do you get with devotion, with the greatest devotion towards the Lord? You get more and further refinement and purification and development of that difficult word, sensitivity. He said some beautiful word here. I will not be able to memorize it. Okay, I took the chance and I did some advertisement for the next chapters, but I leave it to you guys as well to see what you want to do. Okie dokie. Anything from you?
I remember, this reminds me, I remember once being in Tiruvannamalai and going around one of the temples. And I asked a sadhu in this temple, I said, can you explain the symbols of God to me? And he got a little bit angry, the sadhu, and he said, hey, the symbols of God aren't important. What's important are the symbols of your own self. Look at your own self and discover who you are. Don't get too caught up in all the names and forms.
Wow, what an amazing sadhu, huh? It was
Yeah,
it was a sadhu. It was a devotee of
yeah. It was a sadhini, actually, a lady sadhu.
oh, beautiful. She's wise.
Yeah. Yeah, especially in Turu when there's so many different symbols and you can get so caught up in all the little storylines and
Yeah, very nice, nice story. Beautiful. Yeah. Okay, so I got someone to convert the canon into words, and we probably begin with the Canon Upanishad this coming Friday, so that we start getting a taste of it. Okay, and then we'll see how it goes. Okie dokie. And but I will confirm that. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishate Om Shanti 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 Om. Okie dokie. See you soon again.
Thank you.
Thank
thanks,
you.
Alan. Bye now.
Bye bye.